Brock Purdy. Let's talk about Brock Purdy for a second. He's thrown 10 picks in training camp so far. He had 2 in today's practice. He had another potential one that was dropped. He's now got 10 in training camp. He's got an interception rate of 5.1% in this camp. But for some perspective on this, his interception rate in training camp working against the third team last season was 5.9%, 6 interceptions in 101 attempts. Kyle Shanahan was asked about it today. He says, you never want interceptions in any situation, but I definitely like having interceptions a lot more in practice than in games. One thing Brock does is let it rip. He's definitely not worried about people counting his interceptions in practice. So how concerned, I guess, are you about Brock Purdy's picks?
So as far as practice interceptions, I'm not concerned. Now, if he does it in a game, it's concerning. The only thing that's concerning about him doing it in practice is if it continues in games. That's what concerns me in regards to that. But as far as like statting practices, I don't really – it doesn't matter. Now, Kyle Shanahan did say – I have it somewhere here. He did say that he definitely wants the quarterbacks to cut down on them. He's not saying that he wants them to throw more interceptions. It's not like it's a good thing that they're throwing interceptions, but he's not concerned about it. He's glad that they're attacking it. He also said he wants them to practice how they play in games. So obviously he doesn't think it's like a great thing that he's throwing interceptions, but he also looks at it like it's practice. What really matters is what goes down in the games. I, for one, I'm not one of those guys that's making a big deal out of Brock Purdy's interceptions in practice, as long as they don't come up in the game, right? That's when it really matters.
You know, it's kind of a weird thing because Brock, I'm looking for common denominators in his interceptions, and you know, he really leans on his receivers. He throws a lot of what we would call 50-50 balls, where he puts it out there for you, and it's like he's looking at his guy to go get it for him. And I see a lot of those. Now, to me, I think he processes well. I think his accuracy is well above average. My big concern is, has he lost any miles per hour on the fastball? If he has, now I'm concerned because he didn't have a fastball to lose. So I am a little concerned about the interceptions. But I got to see them in the game, and I understand what Shanahan's talking about. One of the things that Shanahan doesn't like right now about Trey Lance, or wants to see more of, is that he wants to see Trey let it rip. He wants to see Trey reach back and just, don't worry about making mistakes and just compete and get out there and really play and try to play a little faster, try to recognize things a little sooner, but then let it rip and don't pump fake and be cautious. Let it rip and roll with it. Trey's trying to, Trey took care of the football at North Dakota State. He's trying to take care of the football now. So I understand his reticence about letting it go, but I think that's Trey's thing. You got to let it rip. As far as Purdy goes, I'm a little concerned because a couple of them have been in the middle of the field, and they're kind of like balls that kind of hang and don't have a lot of zip. But then when I'm concerned about that, then I'll be standing on the sideline, and he'll throw the deep out, and he'll put a tremendous amount of zip on it and put it in a great window, and I'll be like, no. If he can make that throw, he's got plenty of arm. So I got to see it. And I'm not going to feel confident about Brock, that he's 100% back until I see them, go 3, 4, 5-0, something like that, yeah. And he looks good each week.
He needs to play in the preseason, Larry. He really does. I feel like it would be a mistake and not fair to Brock Purdy to just throw him out there against the Steelers when it matters, right? Like, put him out there, let him get a couple, like give him half of a quarter, and just let him fill it out. So it's not you don't want it to be the first time against the Steelers.
No doubt, you got to play him in the preseason. Yeah. I would play him. I'd play him at least 2 series in this game, and I'd play him at least 2 series in the next game.
Yes. And can we say something too, real quick, Larry, in regards to Brock Purdy? I feel like, and I tweeted this today, it's not Brock Purdy's fault that Trey Lance is getting this over-the-top criticism, right? Just like it's not –
they have a great relationship.
So I've heard from someone that Brock Purdy used to spend hours and hours at Trey Lance's house last season, and Trey was helping him learn the playbook. They're good friends. One of the best things I saw when I was at training camp is it was a rest day for Brock Purdy. Trey Lance was about to take the field, and Brock said something to him. They gave each other 5, and you could tell that Brock was encouraging him, right? Just because you like Trey Lance doesn't mean you need to attack Brock Purdy, and vice versa. Just because you think Brock Purdy is the real deal doesn't mean that you need to attack Trey Lance. These are human beings with families and feelings that see everything you guys say about them. And I just think the 49ers fan base needs to cool it down with that stuff.
Totally. And, I mean, and I hate to say this because I don't mean this in a malicious way, but the players are laughing at you. You know what? Like if you're a Brock Purdy fan and you're ripping Trey Lance, Brock Purdy's laughing at you. If you're a Trey Lance fan and you're ripping Brock Purdy, Trey Lance is laughing at you. He's not with you. It's right. Like this idea that like, I'll just rip and Trey's with me if I'm ripping. No, he's not. And Brock's not with you either. And if you're ripping Sam Darnold, they ain't with you on that either. These guys are all relatively young guys, all trying to find their way in the NFL, and they got a good vibe in their room, and they got a good trust among each other, and they're not, are they competing? Yes. Yeah. But they don't want you to rip the other guy. Yeah. They really don't. And at the end of the day, if you're a Trey Lance fan, why are you a Trey Lance fan? Because you're a Niner fan and they drafted Trey Lance. Right. If you're a Sam Darnold fan, why are you a Sam Darnold fan? Because you're a Niner fan and the Niners signed Sam Darnold. If you're a Purdy fan, why are you a Purdy fan? Because you're a Niner fan and the Niners drafted Brock Purdy. That's why you're the fan of these guys. Don't forget the origin of your fandom. Yeah. You're not fans of these guys because you were their second grade buddy. You're fans of them because they're on the Niners, and they're all on the Niners. Yeah. So this I hate this guy versus that guy. I'm so wed to this guy that I'm just gonna create all this negativity about the other guy. Come on, man. I mean, are you a Niner fan? I mean, yeah. I got to question that. I got to question your kind of your motives at that point.